Hey everybody, Nick here, and today I got a review for you of this little guy. This is the Olight S1R Baton sort of little flashlight. It's a little tiny pocket flashlight, but unlike the Olight S1, which I've reviewed previously, and whose review you should really check out before you get too much deeper into this guy is rechargeable. It's got a little recharger thing on the end of it versus the regular one, and that has some unique benefits and makes it a little bit different, and in some ways a little bit better than the original. Like I said, go check out the review, but long story short, this guy is very bright. It's got an okay interface. It's got a reasonable battery life. And it's got some very ugly light. That's the biggest issue with it there. So let's talk a little bit about the advantages of going to the R model over the regular one. So obviously the big advantage this guy's got going for it is that it's rechargeable. And in order to do that, it uses this little cable here. This is just a USB cable, USB on one side, and then it's got their own little proprietary connector on the back side. But basically, you plug it into any power supply. So it could be a portable power bank, or it could be a actual like wall outlet sort of USB charger like the one you use for your phone, maybe even your laptop, depending. And then you just snap this guy onto the back of the light here. It's magnetic, so it latches on there. And then it turns red when it's charging, and then it goes back to green, like this, when it's done charging. It doesn't really get a whole lot easier than that, and that's kind of a beautiful thing itself. But there are some other advantages to this approach. It's got some good, some great, some bad, and some ugly. On the good side, well, a couple of things. First off, it's not very much larger than the original. This is the S1 on this side, and this is the S1R. A lot of lights, when you add in the recharging, kind of add in a whole separate section in the middle there where they have ports and whatnot. This guy is still very, very straightforward. There's really not a whole lot to it size-wise, and so you don't pay a big price in terms of size relative to your normal rechargeable one. That's nice. Another beautiful thing about this guy is that this will run off of any boring CR123 batteries. Even though it uses its own special CR123, and recharging will only work with Olight's special CR123. At the same time, you can swap in a boring regular one and run just fine. So if you happen to run out, you can go down to a store and still pick up a battery that'll work in your light until you get home to recharge or something like that, if that's, how life goes down. So that's nice. The unfortunate thing is that it does require a special cable. You do need to make sure you've got this cable with you. It's very easy to use, but unlike lights that use a normal USB port, like this guy here, this is a Phoenix UC35, you're going to have to carry this extra cable with you. This means that for travel, you're going to need an extra cable that's going to just add more bulk and weight and things like that. So that is one area where the micro USB lights have an advantage. Although I got to say, this recharging scheme is very, very nice. Makes it very, very easy to do. And then the only really ugly thing is that they don't make it with really good color rendering. I'm not a big fan of the light that comes out of any of these little Olight S-series batons. They're all kind of ugly. Very, very poor color, low CRI, that sort of an affair. And unfortunately, although they've made some limited edition Olights with better light coming out of them in the past, they don't make a rechargeable one. And so that's kind of the ugly thing, is you're still going to get unpleasant color rendering using this guy. And so, the final verdict here is that if you like the S1 and you want it to be rechargeable, this is kind of a no-brainer. This is a great solution, and it's a really nice recharge sort of an affair. But if you can forego recharging, I think you should look into some other lights. There are better options out there. Check out my playlist, but like the EGTAC D25A or D25C are just as bright, only a little bigger, and they've got much better color coming out of them. So there you go. That's my little review here. Basically, if you want a rechargeable light and you don't mind the Olight S1, this is a really solid choice. There you go. Hope this is interesting, that it lit up your life, gave you a little bit of a charge, and that you have yourself an absolutely wonderful rest of your day. Bye now.